meeting. So for us and for my team, I always want to make sure that people understand the difference between value and interest rate. And literally, I done a video about it. I got a lot of calls on it that people go, oh my God, thank you for explaining that. Because quite frankly, the value keeps going up. And here's the thing, what I tell people is, if that house is worth 400,000 today, in a year from now it's worth 450, and you're struggling right now with 400,000, you're not going to be able to afford 450. Now, the interest rate is a whole different beast, because here's the thing, within time, you can either refinance, you can do whatever you want, just don't take out any money out of it and refinance for terms. And of course, most of our clients are in their early 30s. And I always go, oh my gosh, you're 30-some years old. How many recessions, how many economies are you going to see till here until you retire? That's 30 years. So why are we worried? So literally more than ever right now, we must know their motivation. If people are motivated, they're going to go through it. If people are not motivated, they're just literally, you know, kind of, I want to feel the market. Those people are not going to go anywhere. They're going to back out. So I actually have had one person backed out only because it made them nervous once they got their payment. So it's like, no, today's payments at $3,200. I mean, that's just it is what it is. So literally for us is we have to stay in front of people, like literally in front of people. And then we tell them, hey, we know you hear a lot of things though, but you got to know who you're hearing it from. Is it a realtor? You know, or is it just your friends? Is it your, you know, anybody that just wants to talk to you about it? Here's the thing, it is what it is. We can't change it, but let me help you, you know, navigate through it. So that's really what's working for us. So anyway, that's for us.
No, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Miguel. I appreciate that a lot. So getting in front of people, right, and knowing their motivation is key, right? Who else would like to chime in? What are you doing to keep in front of the market? How are you shifting your daily activities? What are you doing differently, and what's new to your daily activities or in your calendar? Janet, you have your hand up.
Actually, I just had a question. I wanted to go back to Norma because I remember months ago, her and Brian were talking about their Facebook ads and nurturing them. And I would like to know if you care to share, how are those going? Are you cultivating them and getting some to close?
We are still working on getting converted, you know, though prior I had been doing some Facebook marketing that was not, a lot of it was bad info that I was getting. Right now, all the info that I'm getting in is highly somebody put me on mute, please. Reliable. It's very reliable. It's very reliable.
Okay.
So I think we've converted probably one out of it, but that's good.
Yeah.
One's better than nothing. we started really going into about 2 months ago. So
congrats. Thank you, Norma. You're on mute, Michelle.
Sorry, so somebody was trying to get in and I needed to resend it. So I apologize for that. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, you guys, let's talk about mindset. I mean, you got to get real with this, right? This is the shift. And sometimes people are mistaken movement for achievement, right? And this is page 26, also in the shift book. So it's necessary, right, to get into the right mindset and not let the conversation take you down, right? And so we know what to do. This is a perfect time for KW agents because we all know what we need to do during a shift, right? The difference for us is that we are constantly putting things out there like this. Masterminds, we're talking about it. There's different classes. Chat is doing a shift class. The region's going to be doing a shift class. I'm asking a few of our agents to do tactics, right? So that you have the book and there's different tactics on it, what they feel passionate about, which I haven't asked them yet, but we're going to get into that afterwards. So I want to know what you're doing about that, because during the day it can get kind of hard, right? And what are you doing to make sure it's an effective day during your mindset? Des, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Mine isn't really, my comment is more, and maybe you're going to get into this later, but it's mindset not only for us but our clients. So when we're initially taking them on, whether it's a buyer, whether it's a seller, I mean, I'm working with them and explaining to them that this is a whole different mindset, right? We're in a different market. It's changing all the time. So we're really, really targeting that with the clients the moment I sit down with them and meet with them. Because like Miguel said, or maybe it was Norma, if they're not serious, then we already know, and we should have figured that out the first conversation that we have with them, like whether or not they're really in it for the long haul and they're going to work with us and listen and understand. But people come from fear. So if we're not educating them and teaching them to have that type of mindset with this market, then it's going to be a struggle for us, right? But if we're educating them more up front, then I think it's going to allow the process to be a little smoother if and when we have to do a price reduction, if, an escrow falls out or whatever the case may be. Mindset for everyone involved in the transaction is huge. Everyone.
I like that. Thank you so much for sharing. There is a question right inside the chat box. How do you overcome unrealistic buyers' expectations during the shift? For example, I lost a listing and a buyer because he wanted a $2,500 mortgage payment. How do you overcome that?
Well, there is no such thing as overcoming it. There's such thing as educating. So you have to be able to educate your client and say, look, here's the thing. I don't make up the numbers. The numbers are made up by obviously credit driven. If it's a credit issue, or interest rate, if the interest rate is too high and you're barely on a 640, I mean, come on, there's not a lot of room for you to negotiate on that. But I think that a lot of it is team up with your local lender to make sure that those payments are crystal clear. That quite frankly, if it doesn't lock today and it locks in 30 days from now, we don't even guarantee that it's not going to go further up. So literally education. And then, they have to be able to come from abundance versus scarcity. If they're already kind of scared, then you got to know too that, hey, it's probably not going to work in the 30 days because it's a pretty good process. So literally just education. And going back to the mindset though, I was going to touch up on the seller side. I'm already having conversations with all my sellers. Literally, I have 4 listings right now with no offers. So every one of my sellers, I've been talking about, hey, depending on the offer we get, we might have to, instead of reducing prices, what if we give them a credit? That way you write it up on your taxes. And they're like, that's a good idea. And I was like, shoot, every time somebody sends me an offer and wants a credit, I'm like, let's help your buyer close. Because literally as a listing agent, you can help the buyer close because a lot of their challenge is money. So if you can start talking to your seller about a credit for 3%, I mean, I'm sorry, but instead of reducing the price, I'm all about giving somebody a credit. And I tell my client, hey, listen, at least you get to write it off on your taxes because it's still not selling. So, and some of my listings have already been on the market over 20 days. So I literally started that conversation with a lot of my sellers. This is the kind of market we're going to go into. So do you want to help the buyers, close? So listing agents, I mean, for us, as you know, very, very instrumental, especially you got to telegraph your punches. So that way they don't feel like they're sideswiped. So.
Well, I appreciate that, Miguel. Thank you so much. You guys, what tasks are you guys focusing on at a high level? Like what are you doing at a high level right now that you weren't doing, 30, 60 days ago? Lead follow-up, is it in your calendar? Are you managing your time better right now?
I think what Norma said super important is you really do have to love on your clients, your sphere, your past clients. That's where I'm seeing a lot of my business coming from. And so, in the last market that we had, it was easy to kind of get sidetracked by that and have so much business coming in that we weren't loving on our clients enough. Now I'm getting a lot of calls from people who I had sold homes for, but also people who, I think Desiree said, people I've talked to who I didn't sell their home or do whatever in the past, but now they're coming back now because their life has changed. I mean, Miguel talked about motivation so important. If you don't know your buyer or your seller's motivation, it's going to be hard to have some of these conversations. And the other thing I'm really finding right now is the education is so important to understand the financial markets more and more now, because that's what's scaring people. They're afraid of buying now and overpaying. They don't understand that even buying now, even if prices go down a little bit, in the long run, they're saving money because they're paying themselves, not their landlord. They have a tax write-off. And so it really is just us educating ourselves about the financial market, so that we that have those buyers and sellers who come to us who are scared, we can talk them through it, educate them, so that now they're comfortable with the process. Fear comes from a lack of knowledge.
I 100% agree with that. Thank you, Lisa. That's, yeah, knowledge is power, right? So get together with your lenders, get together with like 4 of agents right here who want to share, who want to make sure everybody succeeds, right? That's what KW is all about. Together, everyone achieves more, right? So let's make sure we're doing this. It's important for, to be disciplined in your time management. It's important to be disciplined in your personal time off too, because if you don't, you're just spinning and you need some personal time off. So you need to make sure you put that in your calendar, you guys, so you don't get burnt out. Okay. So take time to plan. Take time to plan for you. And obviously, I also suggest going to our weekly, we do 2 team meetings a month, right? We do one on Zoom and then one in-house in all the offices. Go to them. Surround yourself with people who are doing the same thing, so they can inspire you and you can inspire them. This is the time we all come together. Miguel, you had a question or comment?
I was just going to tell you that for the past 3 weeks, my team has been focusing on time blocking. Yes. Literally time blocking. Like if it's not in the schedule, it won't remind you that that's what you have to do. And put it on your non-negotiables. I mean, at the end of the day, one of the biggest things that people know about us is that we're very consistent. We're very consistent. I mean, I'm consistently where I'm supposed to be, almost an hour on the hour. So, and, before I wasn't as much, but right now, more than ever, time blocking. That's, I mean, huge. And
page 76, you guys, in the shift book, page 76, time blocking. And also, if you guys look at mykw.kw and you just type in time blocking, there's so much in there that will assist you and help you. Because you're right, Miguel, that's important. That is so important. If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. Anybody want to chat in on time blocking? Brian, did you have your hand up, or was that on? Because I don't see it anymore. Are you good? Did you want to share anything?
Yeah, I did, but I just wanted to. Marissa brought up something the other day at our meeting about the interest rate buy down. I mean, I'm sure most of your lenders have told you about it, but it is way better to buy down an interest rate than it is to do a price reduction, especially since houses are still appraising at higher values. So if someone wants to give back 3%, it should go, a lot of that should go toward a buy down. But talk to Marissa about it. She can give you all the numbers and how they'll work to bring the monthly payment down to something that someone feels is acceptable. That's it.
No, that's perfect. Thank you for bringing that up. And like Rolf just put in the chat, buy downs it's a write-off. From my understanding, that's my little disclosure there. I'm not an accountant, but from my understanding, they're a write-off. So be diligent in talking about that with your lenders. Talk about it with Marissa, with Evergreen. So yeah, thank you so much. What about market expectations, page 183 in the shift? How are you talking about that? What or what kind of research are you doing to make sure you are up on the market?
Michelle, you mean like how we're talking to our clients?
Right. Well, how are you learning about the market as well? Obviously it's the day-to-day stuff, but what else are
Right.
you doing, right? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you, stuff like that?
Watching the market in my farm area, with like the market snapshots that I'm actually sending out to people, that helps me kind of see what's going on around my whole area. And well, just as of late, I've noticed that houses are staying on the market a lot longer. And then I've also noticed that people are bringing, excuse me, down the prices a lot, and they're still not selling. So I've been kind of looking into what's going on with that. I've been, I'm not going to call the agent and ask him, why isn't your house selling after bringing the price down? But I have been talking about it with Barb, my mentor. And so just kind of watching how everything is going and noticing that the prices are, sometimes they'll bring them down $40,000, $50,000. That's quite a
Wow.
bit. And they're still
Mhm.
not moving. So, Barbara's been telling me that it's very imperative to make sure you go on the market with a good price and keep, be real honest with your seller about it. And she helped me with my latest listing, and she was spot on, because when I put it on the market, it was like you look at Zillow, and it was about 30,000 higher than what I put it on the market for. But my seller listened to me, plus I was giving him our snapshots for quite a few months. Excuse me. And then Zillow came down like about 25,000, but we still were right within the right margin. And then now it's going back up again. So it's not really affecting my house that much. And I'm starting to notice more and more showings, because my house isn't fluctuating all over the place. And I don't know if that makes sense, but I think when you price it right and you stay consistent and you're not too high and certainly not too low, then my open houses are a lot more successful, and I'm starting to get more showings than other homes are getting. And I'm just kind of riding along with it. I'm really new to this business, but I'm also listening a lot to what Barbara's sharing with me too.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much, Kathy. That means a lot. So yeah, there's a house. I'm blown away that it's still sitting over in Redbridge, and it's a beautiful home. So yeah, homes are sitting, and especially I don't think it's priced right personally, but it is what it is. It's not one of our agents. So okay, so how are you pricing it right? How are you educating the consumer? How are you telling them that, hey, you've got to do it now, price it right, or you're going to lose the window of opportunity? What are you guys saying to them?
I think it's like what Kathy said. She's showing them the market snapshot. You can't just show them comps anymore, because the comps really don't mean anything at all. You have to show them what the market is doing, how many days on market, what percentage homes are going for under their list price. So it really is a different way of doing your listing presentation. Before we were just relied on our comps, but it really is having to show what the market's doing.
Also showing them actives versus, what's pending and what's closed, because actives are what are really dictating now the trend of where we're moving. So looking at actives and how long they're on based on what they're priced at and the condition of the home is definitely been a good part of the conversation.
And also that's a conversation we have with the buyers too, right? You have to educate them to make sure they're writing the right offer. Not thinking that it's 30 days ago, because I'm seeing stuff like that. I'm like, what? That's just crazy.
Yeah, you can't look at comps from January, February, March, not even April or May, practically. You can't look at those. You have to study the current numbers.
Another thing I'm doing is what the shift book tells us to do, which I've seen market changes previous, and pricing ahead of the market is something I've always educated my sellers on, letting them know, like Janet said, we cannot look at comps from January, February. We can't look at comps from over 45 days ago, because that was a completely different market. So it's educating them as to comparing ourselves to our competition and being the best house out there for the best price. So we are number one on all of the buyers lists to come and see.
I totally agree. That's like around like page 156, right? In the shift. Understanding how to price, provide data, engage them in the process, and know your market, right? So encourage your seller to price ahead of the market. So I encourage you guys to go look at page 156. So market stats, neighborhood stats. You know, even with command on your phone, you can get the stats and just share it. You can also get the neighborhood, Arthur, where are you? Neighborhood, that email that you can send out, right, to your sphere of influence. The market, is it normalizing? I don't know. Nobody has this crystal ball. It's going to keep changing. You know, we need to stay in front of it. How are we, I see your question there, Taylor. How are we sharing this without scaring them? What are
You're
you
right.
doing?
And I
What
say
was
that, I guess I say that because the overall like feeling of this conversation that everyone's having is kind of this, oh my gosh, we're shifting. But you don't want to scare your seller either to where they're like, should I even sell? Because am I going to get what I really want? Like, so I want to hear like how people are saying it in a way that they're not scaring. I have like my listing that's coming on Friday. She's overpriced in my opinion, but I told her if you're okay with sitting on the market, then okay. Like, but I feel you're overpriced, especially in our shifting market. And that, I mean, it is what it is. But
So I think the question is what is their motivation too, right? To sell, because your motivation isn't just to show a home, you know, just to have a house on the market. Your motivation is to sell it too.
right.
You know,
And I think in her defense, she's emotionally tied to the house that her husband recently passed away this month, and she's selling because she wants top dollar to get to Idaho to be near her kids. But she's like, my husband did all this work to our house, so I feel it's there, the value's there. But
she's taking a risk.
Yeah, I just told her, well, we'll see what happens when we put it on the market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing is, right now, I think a lot of people are being unrealistically positive, to be completely honest. They're saying, oh, the prices aren't going anywhere. It's going to be fine.
Oh,
the sky's not falling. Yes, the sky's not falling, but facts are facts. And it is what it is. And there's no way to tiptoe around the reality. And I find that if you just pull the Band-Aid off and you're like, this is where we're at, these are your risks that you're taking by waiting to price it correctly. Are you okay with those risks? And this is what we can potentially do if we just pull the Band-Aid off and price ahead of the market right now. So do you want to go to Idaho or wherever you're going sooner than later? Or do you want to risk losing some money? Not because this isn't a beautiful home and the things that your husband did aren't amazing, but because the market is the market and we cannot control it.
Right. And you know what? There is a scare, right? However, it's peaks and valleys, you guys. If you look at the reports, I mean, shoot, I've been doing this for 26 years or 27 years. I don't know, a long time, right? So it is peaks and valleys. And the people who are consistent and educated are the ones who are going to succeed. So be consistent and don't be afraid of this. It's a new market for some of you, and just educate yourself. Miguel.
Well, I know for the sellers, I got 2 listings coming up, and quite frankly, what I tell them is, you know what, there's no such thing as a cheap house, because the minute it becomes cheap, you're going to get 10 offers even on this market. So the price is going to be what the price is going to be. But let's talk about where you're going. Let's talk about you. You know, where do you need to be? Because at the end of the day, you got to be very personal with them and say, hey, so I have one coming up in Acampo that they're getting divorced. And at the end of the day, we say, hey, what's important here? Here's the thing. I get it. We all want top dollar. But if we go $30,000 under the market, don't worry. It's going to come up because we're going to get multiple offers, even on this market. So, I remember Christine Popworth, the doctor, the more real estate doctor. She used to always say that there's no such thing as a cheap price. Price is cheap and it's going to go up anyway. And, you know, for years, I watched her do this business because she was around for 30 some years. And literally in every market I remember, yeah, her prices were sometimes cheap, but you know what? She sold it. And I was like, ah, she's right. You know, if it is under the market, it's going to come above it anyway because everybody will see value. But at the end of the day, it really is about your seller. Motivation. How can I get you there sooner? How can I get you there safer? And you got to move your asset out, you know? So, and then you got to stop, especially when they get emotional, stop talking to them about their home. It's a house. You got to change that. It's not a home anymore. It's a house. You're moving. Start packing your pictures. Start packing all your pictures. Because so the more you desensitize that house to be an actual house, people can see themselves in it and they can see themselves out of it. Because you got to, all those emotions, especially, you know, losing a loved one. I mean, I can't imagine what that's like. But yeah, all those pictures are still up. Let's start desensitizing those pictures. Let's start moving you out. You know, I would try anything, to be honest. So,
Miguel, that was great. That was really, really, really good. Thank you so much. Anybody else want to chime in on that? What are you doing differently today that you weren't doing 4 months ago, 5 months ago? What are you revising in your daily activity? Norma just put the sellers refer to its house or property. For buyers, it's a home. Ooh. Okay, we need that up on a wall. That is awesome. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. You're right.
What kind of prospecting are you doing, Irma?
We see your comments, Irma. Share. What are you doing?
Sorry.
So what are you
sorry
guys
about
doing?
that. Well, I'm in the process of doing some changes within my team because of, well, first of all, I've been listening to everything that everybody's been saying, and we're all saying the same thing. And we just need to be very firm with what we're saying and how we say it to our clients, because you cannot tiptoe around them. You cannot. We did an oath when we took our license and we said we were going to be a fiduciary to our clients. So if we're tiptoeing around them, then you're not doing your job. For all the agents that are listening and your numbers are not where you want them to be, you need to make some changes to everything that you're doing on an everyday basis. What Miguel is saying, what Minerva is saying, what Lisa is saying, everybody needs to make those changes, including me. So when I'm saying that I'm prospecting more, I have to prospect more, because if I'm not doing, if my girl is not doing her 20 calls, her 30 calls, well, guess what? Irma has to jump on the wagon. If I'm not getting my numbers, Irma has to do whatever is not happening around her. End of story. Because it will affect our team. It will affect everything that we do, our goal, everything. So prospecting is our database. We do the mail out. We do the Facebook. We do everything through command.
Thank you, Irma. You also are doing the spotlight, right, of different businesses in your area.
I'm sorry, I caught only half.
I'm sorry, aren't you doing like a spotlight in your area for like different businesses?
I don't understand your question.
Meaning you did a video for a restaurant.
Oh, okay, yes. Well, that was everything that I listen to, I go out and implement it, okay? If I think that once it hits my brain, I will go ahead and do it. Because if you're out there talking to people, then all of a sudden, oh my God, I remember listening to that. So you're gonna grab it and you're gonna go ahead and react to it. So that was one of those things that I had heard in one of the classes where you promote another business and you're gonna exchange your business. So they're little nuggets that you pick up along the way.
You guys, thank you so much. Irma, I appreciate it.
Sure.
What is the number one class, or give me 2 classes that you are focusing on, that you're looking for, and that you thought, oh my gosh, that class was amazing. I need to go grab my notes and be implementing some things.
So for me was the teams. I still go back to my notes.
Yeah.
And honest to goodness, for some of us who were at the teams, Mastermind with the lady from Sacramento. Oh my God, she was
Shelby.
amazing. And like she says, keep it real, because at the end of the day, you're not helping no one by not letting them know the truth. And I literally still go back to my notes. It's like, we're doing more prospecting, we're doing more online, we're doing more videos. That's why we're doing a lot more. I know for us and my team is everybody's saying the same thing. So if I talk about the interest rate and I talk about value, that's exactly what my assistant is doing. That's exactly what my agents are saying. So we're all sending the same message exactly the same way. And we're making sure that people understand that 2 different things. Because I mean, so much noise and you got to be able to, again, stay in front of people. You got to meet people. It's so easy to tell you no over the phone. Oh my gosh, I love saying no over the phone, just so you know. No,
So funny.
but I can't say no to people when I see them in front of me. Like literally there's people who ask me for stuff and I'll be like, if you call me on the phone, I'm saying no. If you showed up to my office and asked me for it, chances are here you go.
I love it.
So,
I love that.
yeah.
Note to self. That's in my notes right now.
Yeah.
You guys, Jean Rivers is going to be teaching some part of the shift, I would be saying, in the near future. And I encourage you, all of you, to go to the Bay Area. It's probably going to be in the Bay. It probably is, because they have it's just the way the region works, let's be honest, right? So it's going to be out there, but it's going to be worth it. And you guys, you'll be surrounding yourself with people who are, top producers, but also are learning based. And that's what you want to do. You want to be able to have the meeting after the meeting, right? And be able to talk with them and learn as well. So on the Shelby class, would it be beneficial for me to bring her back to do career visioning? Okay, Miguel's all about it, career visioning with Shelby, and I love that. Thank you so much. We had her maybe like a year ago. I think it's probably already been a year, because it's just crazy. And if I can get her partner to come out for, like one of the days, maybe that'll be nice too. So I will work on that. Obviously, with career visioning, there's a cost, because it's the way she did it. I think it was a day and a half instead of 2.5 days. So we really got through it fast, but it was like the meat of it. And so I really, really enjoyed that. So yes, I just got 2 texts, so I'll make sure that happens. What else? Are you, there was the listing class that was on chat. Did anybody see the chat class regarding listings? Who's going to the chat? That's a statistic that I'm asking somebody to pull up. I want to make sure people are like the shift is going to be out there. John Morrison's doing part 1 and should be doing part 2 shortly. So is anybody seeing those classes? Crickets, really? Audrey, thank you, Audrey. I appreciate it. Yes. Okay, you guys, you should be going to the shift class. Unless you're killing it, unless you're at your goals, then don't go. But if you want to change what's happening right now, you need to be learning and learning and learning and learning. One nugget's better than none, right? So let's make sure you're going. And when you do sign up for the chat classes, it comes back to you recorded. So you can listen to it to your own time. Okay, so let me see. Any other questions? Anything you want to share that you're doing differently, that you are time managing differently? What are you doing differently?
One of the biggest things I'm doing differently in my business is really taking a look at what I'm spending my money on. Trying to, lead with revenue as opposed to trying to pay for everything and hope things come. And that's helped me refocus how I'm operating and how I'm focusing my efforts on, whether it's lead generation or advertising or anything along those lines.
That's perfect, Ralph. Thank you so much. And it's Ralph's twin's birthday. So happy birthday, twin.
Hi, thank you.
He's having my own birthday party.
Oh, well, you have a beautiful birthday party. That's great. Okay, so I think people need to be in the offices and diligently working on their task, diligently working on their database. What can we do differently as leadership to make sure this happens? Because if you think about it, I'm looking at the first row right here. Desiree's always in the office. Lisa's always in the office. Miguel's always in the office. Minerva's always in the office. Open up a Turlock office. Taylor, shh. Anyways, yes. So what can we do differently? If you think about it, I just named off, part of the top 5% in the office, in production. The Halstead team's always in there, always consistently in there. Janet, you're in there. So you guys, you need to, oh my gosh, Kyle is in there 24/7, which I absolutely love this. And he's only been in the business for 3 years, and he's top 20%. I'm just saying. He clearly does not mistake movement for achievement, and I'm so proud of him, over the top proud of him. What else can we do? Irma, you're always in the office, so thank you so much. Carlos, you're always in the office. Thank you so much. Anything that we can bring to you guys to support you and your business?
Protein bars.
Protein bars. Okay. I could probably work something out there. I love it. Awesome. What else, you guys? Kyle.
Michelle, can I share something that I'm doing?
On each other. Hi, Kyle. Sorry I cut you off.
Sorry. Okay, so a lot of you probably aren't going to like this, but what I'm doing now is I'm starting to shift and focusing to work more with, not more with, but putting a lot more energy into my buyers, doing more open houses to gain more buyers, that sort of thing. In addition to, working on my sellers with the current listings that I have.
Awesome. Yeah, of course I'm going to like that, you silly goose. So when you say that, I just thought about something. We should probably, Caroline Woe, her buyer's agent, he said that he'll come out and chat with us, and he's top 100 in our Keller Williams world, right? And he chats with Gary Keller, once a month in the meetings. So I will get him in on one of the first meetings that we have in August. I will attempt to, yes.
So
Miguel.
I can tell you that, so I'm a MAPS coaching and I've been there for 3 years. This is a time that you got to do what, 3 top things that you're good at and just multiply that times 10 and just the 3 things. So if your thing is you're really good with buyers, then do that, because you're going to literally, when people are energetic and they're happy where they're at their happy place, just do that. So for me, I know I got buyer's agents, so I focus on my sellers and I focus on making sure that they understand that in order for us to really attract the buyers, we have to listen to them. If we have to give them credit, give them credit. That's the thing. So especially my MAPS coach says, you know what, let's find the 3 skills that you're good at and let's just focus on those 3 things. That's it. That should be your entire 8 hours all day long, every day, because that's what a shifted market requires. It requires consistency. It requires focus. It requires just do it. Literally just do it.
I love all
Do
this.
it.
Yeah, consistency does matter. It does. Anybody else? Any last words? Anything that you want to share or ask?
I want to share something.
Yes.
I just want to remind everybody that mindset is everything, because there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of information coming at us with this shift, and we have to protect our positivity while being realistic. That meditation and affirmations and writing down your goals and being really clear as to what you want for yourself and your family has to be in front of you every day. And you have to understand that it is 100% attainable.
On that note, Minerva, you guys, we have this together. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody's time, and I appreciate how everybody just comes from abundance. We'll do this again next month. Would that be good? Yeah. Okay, you got it. You got it. Minerva, that's the best way to end this, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, go out there and educate your clients. Thank you so much to everybody for participating. Enjoy.
Thank you.